Kevin Jonas Brother, the Birdman from Aladdin, but also Cyber Chase. It was weird that he was a bird twice. Geraldo Rivera's mustache. These are all famous people who logically would not be in a room together. Unless... Hello, everybody. My name is Sid, and today I am talking to you about something that I cannot talk about with other people that I know because they don't have oddly specific niche interests, if that's the nice way to put it. So today we're talking about a favorite from my childhood, something I hold near and dear to my heart, not for obvious reasons, but the Celebrity Apprentice. I watched this a lot growing up. It was just on, so I watched it. So yeah, I kind of want to talk about it because for some reason I've been thinking about it. So let's get into this. Let's dissect this absolute fever dream of media that was just thrown at us. So the whole premise is that you have 14 to 18 business people, and they're split into two companies. They're split into two teams, and they have to do these challenges, like these weird businessy type challenges to show that they are up to par on business skills that will prove that they can be a certain orange guy's apprentice. So these tasks, they're usually along the lines of, selling products, raising money for charity, making marketing campaigns, stuff like that, like stuff that, businesses do. But you're like forcing these people who don't even know each other, who may not even work in the same field, to work together to complete this challenge. And at the end of the challenge, the teams are brought into a boardroom for a board meeting. A team is chosen as the winner of the challenge, and the losing team stays in the boardroom. They are, asked what they could have done differently, who the weakest link was, all that. And then somebody is voted off, and they're, executed. They're I don't know how else to say that. They get kicked off, with the guy saying, "You're fired." Those iconic two words that are like the hallmark of this show. And that's like the very watered down concept that I could come up with. Like anything, humble beginnings. You got to start with humble beginnings, and this humble beginnings was The Apprentice. Starting in January of 2004, The Apprentice premiered on NBC. This lasted for 7 seasons. In this version, the prize was to become executive producer of one of Mr. Dump's companies, like executive vice president. In actuality, plot twist, they were just given like the title of, executive vice president, or hold on, I gotta look at this because I don't even know what this is. They were given the title of owner's representative or executive vice president, depending on how they felt that year. They were also given $250,000 1-year starting contract, and they essentially were just like an ambassador for the Dump organization. They were basically like paid actors. They were paid actors. The second season winner, his name was Kelly Perdue. He talked about what it was like winning, and he essentially said that he would like travel around and appear at different business events. That's he was basically like a promoter. That's some prize. I don't know. That's a pretty shitty prize. That kind of prize sounds like an unpaid internship. Like, yes, they were being paid, but it's kind of like when your college like requires you, like some universities, like if you're in a certain degree program, they require you to get an internship in order to graduate. Like, you have to get an internship in order to get credit to go towards your degree. And that's kind of what it sounds like. Like, it looks good on your resume, just as the words "you're fired" are iconic, because that's like immediately what people think of when they talk about the show. I think about the intro sequence. Like, the intro sequences, you know, the song that they chose for the show, you know, the song that money, 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 that song. I have never heard that song like anywhere else. I've never heard it on the radio. I've never heard it like anywhere else. So I'm surprised a lot of people don't, you know, talk about that first. And the way that they like pose these people and have them stand, they look like realtors. They look like they're posing for their business card or like their headshot or something. And it's really weird. I don't want to say I don't like it, but it doesn't look right. Like, I know it's reality TV. I know most of it is probably scripted, but like, can you at least make these people stand normally? Also, I found the season 1 intro, like the intro for the very first episode. Homie unironically said the word bigly, and that gave me like absolute complete whiplash, because I thought he was only saying that shit because his brain was like deteriorating and he reads at like a 2nd grade level. I didn't know that was just like how he talked. I don't talk like that. I don't say bigly. I also have to mention this. The Apprentice got not 1 but 2 video games, with the first one being The Apprentice in 2005. And then in 2007, we were given The Apprentice LA, Los Angeles. The first one I know was available on Xbox, PSP for some reason, and PC. And then I think the second one was only on PC. But both were given absolutely dog shit reviews because of their design. You know, critics didn't like the cartoony looking figures of people. They didn't like the audio mixing, audio design. The audio clips were just really weird and choppy, according to critics. Alex Navarro from GameSpot even said, you know, the first one you could have finished in 20 minutes. Like, there was essentially like no gameplay. You could speed run the entire thing in like 20 minutes. Like, you could finish it in one sitting. That's fucking lame. Did you know that Martha Stewart was a part of this? Because she is. In fall of 2005, we were given the spin-off of The Apprentice Martha Stewart, which is an incredibly creative title for an incredibly creative woman. I do have to like mention this first. I have to mention this first, or else I will spontaneously combust. Most parts of this were taped at her home because she was on house arrest after being released from federal prison. If anybody didn't know that she went to federal prison, it was because she was charged with conspiracy, like charges relating to like conspiracy and perjury because of like, you know, stuff related to insider trading. And she went to federal prison for a number of months. Do you think that she was like teaching people how to make like artisanal shit in prison? Do you think that? Because that's like my little headcanon. I think that's funny. I'm not really a Martha Stewart fan, but I think that would be like the funniest thing ever. She's like teaching people how to make artisanal toilet wine. Also, about this season, Bethany Frankel was on here. If you don't know who Bethany Frankel is, I want to be you so bad. Bethany Frankel is one of the inaugural members of the Real Housewives of New York. She is a nutritionist. She's an author. She's a businesswoman. She has a brand, and you may have seen it in stores without even knowing it. The brand is Skinny Girl. And I think that's incredibly ironic because she only became a nutritionist because she had an eating disorder. And now she has Skinny Girl as her brand. Girl, do better. So Bethany Frankel was on this season, and Martha did not like her. It was incredibly obvious. You know, Bethany has spoken out publicly about Martha Stewart not liking her. So, you know, Martha made it known. Martha made it known that she did not like Bethany. So Bethany was supposed to win this season, funny enough. Despite Martha not liking her, but it was leaked the morning before the live finale that Bethany was supposed to win, and to like save face, they ended up picking one of the other two women who was in the top 3 with Bethany. I'm assuming just to like make it look like it was a false spoiler or that it was just a rumor, but you know, Bethany was the winner, but she didn't win. That really sucks. And I think that was on purpose. I think Martha did that shit on purpose because she didn't like Bethany and she didn't want Bethany to win. So she did anything that she could to not let her win. And that is a dill. And that is a hill that I will die on. I also don't like either of them. So I kind of don't care that much, but like, that's kind of shady. That's really kind of shady. It's said that the ratings for this version were really bad because of the time slot that Martha had. She was competing with Lost on ABC, which was, you know, still a really big show. People were still like watching that every week. And, you know, people were just enthralled with Lost. So, you know, Martha had to compete with that. And Dump, he blamed Martha's spinoff for declining ratings, you know, because he was like, oh, well, it has to compete with me. It has to compete with my version. His ratings had, you know, begun to fall the year before. So, sources. Martha had responded to this. She was saying, you know, well, I was supposed to fire you on the first episode of my season premiere, and I was supposed to be your successor. I wasn't supposed to just be hosting a spinoff. You know, nothing really ever came from that statement. You know, she just said that. The network never backed her up on that. By mid-November of 2005, NBC had said, you know, we're not going to bring this back for a second season, which was weird because, you know, the network had said it was only a one-off season, and Martha had said, yeah, this was only a one-off season. So why would you say that? It doesn't make sense, but I guess just for people who got their hopes up. I forgot to talk about the intro for this. It's all just so weird. And the music in the background is Sweet Dreams Are Made of This by Eurythmics. But it's really confusing. She's just walking with the horse and then the horse is not walking with her, and she's like peeking around corners, being a little sneaky bohiki, and it's all really confusing. And then they have her like sitting at a desk. She's a strong businesswoman. Then they have, everyone being realtors. So yeah, Martha. All right, now we are on to the big boy, the great kahuna of this franchise, the Celebrity Apprentice. From 2008 on, we were given the Celebrity Apprentice, which was 8 seasons long, one more season than The Apprentice if you don't count the Martha Stewart thing. We're not counting the Martha Stewart thing. In this format, several celebrities would, compete the same way that the original Apprentice would operate, except instead of competing for, prize money, they're competing to, donate money to charities of their choice. The final prize was, a large donation to their charity, and they were named, they were given the title Apprentice, and they got to work with Trump, I guess. It was kind of the same deal as before, they were just like given a title and, showed their face. A lot of the celebrities that they had for this, they weren't like super huge mainstream, project type celebrities at that time. A lot of them were retired athletes, reality stars, music legends, actors who weren't in like giant A-list projects at the time. Marlee Matlin was on Celebrity Apprentice, and I loved her on there. She fucking killed it. I haven't seen Coda yet. I still want to see it. I just haven't gone. I really should. I've heard good things about it. It looks really good. My favorite season of Celebrity Apprentice is the 4th season. The people they chose for that season was obviously for the drama. It was for the drama, and I was here for it. Who did they have? They had Lisa Rinna. They had Nene Leakes, Star Jones, LaToya Jackson, and they were always just fighting with it. That was for the drama, and I was here for it. The fights were like the best part of the Celebrity Apprentice, obviously.
Really heartwarming to see such a delightful creature in her natural habitat.
Your mama should know.
I look forward.
Don't you try to act like you're the reason why we won, because you are not. Calm. I worked my ass off while you sat there and looked like Casper the Ghost.
Honestly, the only good part. And also, they chose like the most crack-headed people to all be in the same room. People who should logically be in the same room were all in the same room for like extended periods of time. It makes no sense, but like it happened right before our eyes and we ate it up. Like all things though, they end, and this had the interesting downfall compared to a lot of other shows. Even though ratings had been steadily declining over the years, the big plummet was in 2012 when Dump had began to publicly question then President Obama's citizenship. He had questioned whether or not he was born in the U.S., about his religious beliefs, all that. A lot of bullshit just because he was being racist. And The Apprentice was criticized for Dump's involvement because he was still the host of the show. People didn't want to support the show. They didn't want to watch. They didn't want to support. They didn't want to give him any kind of, positive attention because of the things that he was saying and just the ruckus he was causing. The media has speculated about how far the extent goes about his political insertion affecting the show and affecting a lot of other Trump associated businesses, because many of them suffered when his campaign begun, when he started talks of running for president. One anonymous Celebrity Apprentice contestant had even said, I'm going to boycott the finale. I'm going to boycott the taping unless I'm contractually obligated to be there, because I don't want to be associated with him. I don't know if it's ever come out as to who it was, but that's how bad it was at that time. But in 2017, Arnold Schwarzenegger took over as the host in the final season of The Apprentice, and this was branded as the new Celebrity Apprentice. He ended up quitting the show after the one season that it lasted. At this time, even though Mr. Orange Man was in office, he was still executive producer of this show. People didn't want to watch because of him being associated and his involvement with the show while he was supposed to be running the country. Arnold quit because he was blamed by Dump for the bad ratings, which, oh my god, blaming the person who isn't him for ruining ratings when he's the reason that ratings are down. We have not seen this before. Oh my god. Completely on a left field. Just say you suck and you're ruining your show. And at this point, the show kind of just like disappeared off the face of the earth after that. You cannot stream it on any major streaming platforms. I've found like episodes on YouTube, other sites where people will post like episodes of old shows that you can't really find anywhere. Nobody wants to have it on their platform. Nobody wants to give him any kind of platform to be supported on. Good. Good. In retrospect, like, I think I was really like obsessed with the idea of the show because, this was like family time for my family. We would all like sit down and watch it together. I don't know why, but watching famous people act a fool is what brought us together. We are not the type of people to, get into drama. We watch it from afar. And I really did love the fights in this show. I also really want to know, like, why a lot of celebrities who were on here thought that they could, like, get into politics. You had Dumpy. He became president. Omarosa, who was a very prominent person on this show. She had been on here multiple times. She became one of his political advisors. Dennis Rodman, for some reason, thinking he was going to be like some ambassador to North Korea. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was never a contestant, but he did appear on there in the first season. And he did end up becoming, the host in the last season. He was the governor of California. He was the governor. So I thought that was really interesting that it's like you got these famous people and then they're all like, well, I'm famous, so I can obviously do politics. That's not how that works, but I guess it is how it works here. Essentially, this show, it was a way for Dump to bounce back from bankruptcy by rebranding and inserting his brand into a very public forum. He was bankrupt and in a lot of debt before the show started, and this was kind of a way to maybe make that money back, or at least make it look like he had bounced back, secured the bag. It didn't really work. He kind of just rebranded himself as a phony, because authentically he was a phony. And this was kind of just like entertainment, a way for him to get attention. He just wanted attention. It really worked because he got enough attention and was in office for 4 years, and now he's not even allowed to have a Twitter account. So those are my final thoughts. Thank you so much for listening. Really hope you come back for the next video. If you like the video, subscribe if you'd like to subscribe. And leave a comment down below if you also are Gen Z and remember the Celebrity Apprentice and think it was really kind of a weird concept. And let me know if there are any other shows that you want me to talk about. Be gentle with yourselves.